You are listening to Down to the Wire Sports Talk. My name is Tanner, and unfortunately, Richie will not be here today. He will be missing today's show, and we unfortunately missed last week's show due to some unforeseen circumstances. So today we're going to go over tons of topics, ranging from the Celtics to the NBA to the NHL trade deadline to the NFL and to the Boston Red Sox. But first, I want to prompt you to like us on Facebook at Down the Wire Sports Talk, or like our other page on Facebook, Boston Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at Down to the Wire Sports Talk, and also follow Wentworth Radio. First up, as we know, we have no Richie here, but we're gonna move on. And there's been some rumors of a Des Bryant tape out on the internet. So if you haven't heard the story yet, Des Bryant, the star receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, who's actually going to be a free agent in a couple weeks, is rumored to have a video out there that is Ray Rice-like. And I put that in quotes, and is it out there? I don't know. It's been rumored to be out there. Toaster and Rich of 98.5 The Sports Hub have followed this pretty heavily and have requested stuff from the police in, I think it was Fort Worth, Texas, or somewhere at Lancaster, Texas, something like that. And it was apparently in a Walmart parking lot. There was some kind of domestic altercation between Brian and some woman. We don't know who the woman is. We don't know if it actually happened or not, but this is a rumor that is swirling around the internet right now, and the internet is what it is. Yesterday was a dress and llamas, so who knows what today is going to be. But Des Bryant could be in some big trouble right here. If this is true, the NFL won't just sit aside like they did with Ray Rice. They're actually going to come down hard, and it could be a career ender. But we're not going to speculate on what it is because I've heard rumors it doesn't exist. Because Toaster and Rich actually posted on Facebook some police report that they requested, and the police report looks legitimate. I read the whole thing, and it doesn't seem to put Bryant in any kind of jeopardy. They are saying there's a video from the Walmart store of Des Bryant, and it looks to be his former friends who are no longer his friends are now trying to make a quick buck. I know all the media stations in Boston have had an offer to purchase the video. The video is up for auction. Is the video legitimate? We don't know. It was expected it was going to release early this week, but that didn't happen. It's been out there for a while, a couple months at least. I heard someone said it's even from 2011. It's kind of just insane at this point. I feel bad for Dez. He hasn't done anything wrong as far as we know. But he's also in his biggest year, and his contract's over, and he's looking to get a lockup deal from the Cowboys, and it looks like they're not going to give it to him just because this is looming over his head. And that's really unfortunate. He's going to miss out a lot of money, but if he did do it, then that's probably the end of Des Bryant's career. So Adrian Peterson, yesterday, there was a big ruling by a judge saying that his suspension is done, but what it really means is his suspension is no longer going to go on, and now it's back to the NFL to decide whether to reinstate him or not. Adrian Peterson will probably play. Will he play for the Minnesota Vikings? That is left yet to be determined. I don't think he's going to play for the Vikings. I don't think you can bring him back there, but he's still a $15 million player. He's looking for a lockup on his contract, and I've heard rumors that if the Cowboys lock out on DeMarco Murray, who is also going to be an RB free agent, he could go to the Cowboys. Ray Rice is another guy who's going to be eligible to play this upcoming season. And Ray Rice has actually had his name connected to several teams, including the New England Patriots. And would I want Ray Rice playing for the New England Patriots? Personally, he's a PR nightmare. But as far as what he's going to cost, he's going to cost under $2 million and possibly be a veteran minimum player. And the kind of player we know he can be on the football field is much better than that. The problem is the guy's a wife beater. So it's kind of hard to have a guy like that around your team. But I think if there's a team that can handle him and can kind of help him develop and stuff, it'd be the New England Patriots. It's a very deep running back free agent market this year. And several of that's been applied to running backs that have been released due to cap issues or just not working out their team. Reggie Bush of the Detroit Lions was released yesterday, as well as Steven Jackson, who was on the Rams, and then he was on the Falcons for the past 2 seasons. Those are both due to cap-related issues. So you're going to have Ray Rice, Steven Jackson, and you possibly AP and Reggie Bush on the market. Shane Vereen of the New England Patriots will be a free agent this year. He's looking rumoredly to get $5 million a year. I personally don't think what he does for this team is worth $5 million a year. The only way you can justify signing him for that money is if you can look at him and say, hey, you're going to have an expanded role in this offense, but it looks like Bill hasn't been able to commit to Shane Vereen in that kind of mindset. So is he worth $5 million? No, especially when you look at the free agents that are out there on the market. Are we going to get Steven Jackson? Probably not, but he's a guy that's out there. And I think the Patriots should look at all options. And I like Shane Vereen a lot. I like what he does for this team. I like how he can catch the ball out of the backfield. But you have to look at it as you still have Jonas Gray, Stephen Ridley, Brandon Bolden, and you could possibly go out with the deep free agent market, or you could always draft a running back. So if you're Bill Belichick, you have some questions, especially in your secondary, when it's debated whether the Patriots are actually going to pick up the option on Darrelle Revis because it's like a $20 million option. And I think they personally should lock him up $15 million to $16 million a year, make him your highest paid player, and lock him up for 3 to 4 years with $60 million guaranteed. You have to be seen if the Patriots are going to pony up and commit, but I find it hard for them not to commit to Darrelle Revis at this point because the cornerback market is extremely light. There's no one out there you can go get and say, hey, he's better than Darrelle, because Darrelle Revis is the best at his game, and there's no one in the free agent market that you could even bring in that'd be half as good as him. Another big problem with the New England Patriots right now is signing safety Devin McCourty. So you can either franchise tag him, which runs you around $13 million a year, which is decent for the player and decent for him in the New England Patriots. But you have to question signing a long-term deal. He's been one of your best safeties of the past 10 years, and he is definitely wanting to commit to this team. He has publicly said that he would like to remain a New England Patriot, and the New England Patriots have a positive advantage over any other team at this point, even though his brother, Jason McCourty, with the Tennessee Titans, would like to see his team personally recruit Devin. I don't see that happening. Devin's going to be worth more money than the Titans can pay. The New England Patriots can pay the money. And I really do hope to see Devin McCourty return in the Patriots uniform. We'll be right back after the break. We're going to talk a little Celtics.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some nigga in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop skipping. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Bitch, say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Don't believe me, just got a little something. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. I said uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. If you freak dead and own it. Don't brag about it, come show me. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. Well, it's Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Come on, hey, say what?
You're back at Down the Wire Sports Talk. And we're going to talk a little Rajon Rondo, former Boston Celtics point guard Rajon Rondo. Had some issues down in Dallas after being traded down there. He was actually suspended for one game for arguing against Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle on the court. Rick Carlisle, the coach, was trying to call a timeout. Rajon Rondo had the ball going to the court, refused to look at his coach, refused to call a timeout, so his coach had to run out onto the court and get a technical foul for the time clock to actually end. This is another battle dispute between Rajon Rondo and his coaches. It occurred mid-game and even had a bigger argument apparently after the game behind closed doors. And yesterday, ESPN reporter Tim Mackman, who actually follows the NBA, reported that it's extremely unlikely that Rajon Rondo, who's going to be a free agent after this season, will re-sign with the Dallas Mavericks. This was a rental deal anyway in the first place with Dallas. Dallas couldn't afford the money that Rajon Rondo is actually looking for. Rondo's looking for a max contract of $80 million. He's not worth anywhere close to that number in anyone's book except his own. The Celtics did overvalue Rondo for the past couple of years, and the fan base of the Boston Celtics, I'm in it, but I didn't overvalue him. I always thought Rajon Rondo was the player he is, and that is an overconfident egomaniac who does what he wants and doesn't listen to his coaches. He had problems with Doc Rivers, former coach of the Boston Celtics, made Doc even want to leave. Doc wanted to leave here because of Rondo. He knew Rondo was going to end up taking over the team anyway. Brad Stevens has had problems with Rondo early in the year, and last year he couldn't control his own team, and it took Rajon Rondo to leave to actually see what Brad Stevens is as a coach and actually implement coaching changes. Bottom line is Rondo is a hothead, always has been, and it's tough. You know, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you just made a big trade, gave up a lot of prospects, got draft picks to get Rajon Rondo in the hope you're going to win a championship with Dirk Nowitzki. And you have Monty Ellis on that team. You got Vince Carter on that team. You have some really good players around on that team. And that team in the West is one of the best teams in the Western Conference. The Dallas Mavericks have had a chance to win it last year, and now they definitely have a chance to win it this year. The question mark for them is whether Rajon Rondo can get his act together long enough for the team to actually function as a team. So another big thing that's happening tonight is the Boston Celtics are back in action against Michael Jordan's Hornets at the Garden at 7:30 p.m. And last time the Celtics played was against the New York Knicks a couple nights ago. They beat them 115-94 at home. Newly acquired Jonas Jerebko, who was actually the guy everyone was like, oh, we actually got him too after Isaiah Thomas, because Isaiah Thomas trade definitely highlighted the trade deadline for the Boston Celtics, but Jerebko was the first part of the acquisitions they made that day, and he dropped 20 points against the Knicks, and Isaiah Thomas dropped 19 points. Isaiah's line in the first 3 games he's played as the Boston Celtics. One was against the Lakers. He dropped 21 points. Second one was against the Suns, another 21, and last night he had 19. He's averaging 20.5 points for the Boston Celtics, and that's something that you need to see, especially coming off the bench. He has no plans to be in the starting rotation, according to Brad Stevens. Brad wants to keep him as the 6th man coming off the bench, scoring points for this team. And I think that's more to do with Marcus Smart's development, and Marcus Smart's also a better defender than Isaiah. So that's probably why that's going to be happening. But Isaiah Thomas definitely wants minutes, and I think if you don't give him the minutes he needs, he's not going to be happy. But around 25 minutes a game for this kid's pretty good. Evan Turner also recorded his first career triple-double against the Knicks. Evan Turner has been your most reliable player all year long. He continues to be that guy. He's one of the only guys who's actually here as a projected starter at opening day. Another guy who's kind of emerged is Jay Crowder, a guy we acquired a couple months ago, and that was in the Rondo trade. And Jay Crowder was someone you overlooked. I overlooked him. But Jay Crowder's actually emerged into a consistent player, dark horse on this team. He actually dropped 18 points off the bench the other night. He scored 22 a couple nights before that. 22 is his career high. And Jay Crowder is actually shooting the ball decently beyond the arc, and he's being a productive member of this basketball team. And the problem, what's happening with the Celtics now, is that they don't have the big bodies to go up against the power forwards or the centers of these other teams because they're relatively small. What's happening with them is Kelly Olynyk has a sprained ankle, could be out for a couple more weeks. They're not really sure where he's going to be back. But Jared Sullinger was a big hit. He's going to be out for the year. And Danny Ainge actually went on the radio 2 days ago and said that Sullinger's conditioning and his weight has been the majority of his problems. He weighs around 240 to 260 pounds, and he's trying to be a power forward in the NBA. I just don't think if he loses the weight, it's going to help him. It's going to hurt him. He's going to have to change his game, and he might not have the capability to change the game like that. It'll be interesting to see what the Celtics do this year because they do have a playoff hope. And the playoff hope is the Celtics are a game out of the playoffs. And that is something I did not expect to say a couple months ago when I started this show. I did not think the Celtics would be one game out of the playoffs. And we still have the home stretch to go here. We have all of March and the majority of April to go. Will they end up being in the playoffs? I don't know. But this team could do it. They have the scoring guard in Isaiah Thomas. They have the leadership on the team in Brandon Bass. They have the young players on this team who have energy and can play. They have players that can take over the game, Evan Turner. It'll be very interesting to see what this Celtics team can do down the stretch if they can win consistently. The problem they're having is that they can score a lot of points, get a 20-point lead, and they're going to blow the 20-point lead. That's what's happened to this Boston Celtics. They'd win a lot more games if they could hold on to the leads and play defense, but they haven't been able to do that. And if they can somehow develop that skill to hold on to a lead, you could see them win a hell of a lot more games down the stretch and possibly make the playoffs. But the question is, at this point, you might as well make the playoffs because you're not going to get a lottery pick in the draft. And it's not going to be a high pick anyway. If you don't have a top 6 pick in the NBA draft, you might as well just play to win. And if they win, they're going to get the 8 seed in the playoffs, which isn't a bad thing. You need to get your young players experience in the playoffs. Marcus Smart should get playoff experience, as well as Kelly Olynyk. James Young should get playoff experience. Everyone on the team needs playoff experience because they don't have a lot of players on the team that have actually been in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what the Celtics do going forward. We're going to go on a quick little break, and we're going to come back and talk about the Bruins' injuries, cap situation, and playoff outlook.
I'm want that red velvet, I want that sugar sweet. Don't let nobody touch it unless that somebody's me. I gotta be a man, there ain't no other way. 'Cause girl, you're hotter than a Southern California day. I don't wanna play no games, you don't gotta be afraid. Don't give me all that shy shit, no makeup on, that's my sugar. Yes, please, come and put it down on me. I'm right here, 'cause I need.
You're listening to Wire from our on-campus studio in Boston, Massachusetts. This show does not represent Wentworth Institute of Technology or the colleges of the Fenway in any way. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, please contact Chris Scanlon at 617-989-4087. To learn more about Wire, visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Wentworth Radio, or check us out on Twitter at Wentworth Radio. And remember, you can hear your favorite Wire shows anytime at wire.wit.edu/on-demand. Warning, contents of Wire may be hot after heating. EPA estimate only. Do not ingest. Do not inhale vapors. Do not use if seal is broken. Do not remove this label. Edited for television. Keep away from fires or flames. Keep away from moisture, rain, snow, gloom of night, and so forth. If seal is broken, start immediately. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Knock before entering. Lay flat on the ground. Light fuse, get away. May cause excitability. Do not induce vomiting unless you want to. No animals are used during testing. No Canadians used during testing. No anchovies unless otherwise specified. Not actual size. Not affiliated with any government agency. Not approved by the FCC. Not dishwasher safe. Not intended for highway use. Now please drink responsibly. Please fasten your seatbelt and extinguish all smoking materials. Void where prohibited. Results may vary. You should have had a
Wow, that was a very long and annoying prompt, huh? Minute and 3 seconds long. It's a bit excessive. We went with the pre-recorded prompts to the instant player for Wire. We're supposed to be doing that now, but I think I'm just going to read that by myself. It'll take about 30 seconds instead of a minute and 3 seconds. That was outrageously long and borderline creepy. But we're going to move on to our next topic, as I digress. David Krejci is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Greg Campbell's out a couple more days, expected to be back for next Thursday's game because the Bruins have a Friday night game this week, and then they have a Saturday 5:30 p.m. weird time game. And then they don't have a game till next Thursday, and that's when I expect Greg Campbell to be back. Kevin Miller has been ruled out for the season. He will be having season-ending surgery. So his $800,000 does go to the cap already, as well as Greg Campbell, who's on the IR, and David Krejci was put on the IR yesterday, but that's standard for any player who's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks to be put on the long-term IR. David Krejci's cap hits $5.25 million, and that's going to be typical for the rest of his career. But the question I've been debating the past week or two, and the question that a lot of people are debating is, whether to use that IR money to go over the cap, because in the playoffs, there is no cap. And with Krejci's 6-week timeline, he'd be put back a week before the regular season. But on the 4-week side, there's 4 weeks without David Krejci just sitting on the sideline. Because if you put him on the long-term IR and you use that $5.25 million to go get a player, put you over the cap, you can do it. The problem is you can't bring back Krejci. And if the money doesn't add up, can you afford to have a David Krejci sitting on the sideline? Felger and Maz at 98.5 The Sports Hub did ask Cam Neely, and Neely pretty much said that the league doesn't like teams edging around cap guidelines. And that's kind of an ethics decision the Bruins can make, but the Blackhawks will do it because they're going to have Patrick Kane out for 12 weeks, and the Penguins did it last year with Chris Letang. The thing is, will the Boston Bruins do it? And I would if I was in their situation. I don't really care about a slap on the wrist by the league because if you look at it, that's kind of it's in the rule book. It's legal. It's a legal thing to do, and it won't be illegal for about 5 years when the new CBA is going to be drafted. There's tons of trade deadline possibilities for the Boston Bruins. They've talked about Keith Yandle, Antoine Vermette, and who would you have to get up to give Keith Yandle? And simple, I'd give him Riley Smith and Malcolm Subban, and maybe a draft pick. Take it. And the money's going to match up in that situation. You might have to eat a little bit, but without David Krejci's money on the IR, you have $2.5 million open. That's including Kevin Miller's just added $800,000. You add that Krejci money, you have $7.7 million open under the hard cap. So the big question is it worth sitting him the last week of the season if he has the 6-week timeline? But I've been hearing he could back in 3 and 4. It's definitely a risky thing to do, but if you think you can make it to the playoffs without David Krejci and you bring in another player that helps you get there, then you have David Krejci come back in the playoffs healthy, rested, and ready to win, this team could go all the way. If you get Vermette Vermette is a second-line center. He could play second-line center in Krejci's position until David Krejci comes back. Then when he comes back, you put Vermette on the wing on that same line with Lucic. It'll be interesting to see what the Bruins do. I don't think Peter Chiarelli has the metaphorical balls to make a move like this, because personally, I don't know if he knows what a phone is. It's been Smith Pelly was traded to the Canadiens, and I don't know where Peter was on that one. Apparently, he tried to get him, but he didn't know how to pick up the phone and say, hey, we actually have better players in the deal to give you. Another news, Nathan Horton was traded yesterday to Toronto. Nathan Horton was put on the long-term IR the second he was traded, and Nathan Horton's career might be over, but it was a move to free up cap space on David Clarkson's contract in Toronto. And CBJ just wanted a player who could actually play currently. The cap situation is tough for the Bruins. They're in cap jail because of Peter Chiarelli. This is the opportunity to get out of cap jail. You're paying Zdeno Chara over $7 million a year to do what a third pairing defender can do. I think you can take your first pairing from Providence and flip him into Zdeno Chara's position. Zdeno Chara's problem is he's getting older. He doesn't have the speed. All he has is his long legs and big body that he doesn't use. He's afraid to check people into the boards. He's afraid to hit. He's afraid to make people afraid. And I can't say what he is on the air, but Zdeno Chara is not acting like a big man. And there's not many defenders on this team who are stepping up to fill in his place. Dennis Seidenberg, I can't blame him. He was injured last season. He has not recovered from that injury, and that's something he may never recover from. So you have to look at young guys like Torrey Krug, Dougie Hamilton, Adam McQuaid, Matt Barkowski, and with Miller out, it's a really tough situation for the Bruins defensively. Dougie's had a weird year where you can't say he's necessarily stepped up. You can't say he's played bad. He's just a young player. He's 21 years old, still is not in the prime of his career. He's still developing, and to give him a first pairing defense position is very tough. Krug's in a similar situation, but Krug's playing on the third pairing, so there's less pressure on Torrey Krug. The Bruins need a defender, and they also need a top six forward. And you're not going to get both, so you have to pick and choose. Maybe you go get a mediocre third or second liner, and you go get a second pairing defender at the trade deadline, because you don't have to get one player with that $7.7 million. You could get two. But if you just use the current cap hit at 2.5, you can get one mediocre player, or you have to match contracts going out. And that's why they're talking about trading Louis Eriksson. Louis Eriksson's on your third line. He's been your most consistent player all year. I think he has 11 goals, like 15 assists. He's around $3.5 to $4 million contract hit. So if you can match up the money, you could trade Louis. But I don't think trading Louis Eriksson is going to help you that much, because Louis has been the most consistent player on the team. What's the playoff hopes for the Boston Bruins? This is something that in the beginning of the season I would have told you that they would have been top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, and they would have at least made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, conditionally if they didn't have the Canadiens in the first round. At this point, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't see them not making playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, say goodbye to Peter Chiarelli and Claude Julien. I think they're going to make the playoffs. This team has no excuse to miss the playoffs, even without David Krejci. This team has the talent to make the playoffs, and Tuukka Rask has to step up, and he has. He's played 18, 19 straight games at this point, going before the All-Star break. It's kind of insane. Nicholas Svedberg is going to have to play this weekend on Saturday at 5:30. Who knows what he's going to do? Is he going to show up? Is he going to actually play goalie? Is he going to play, behind the net? Can he play? I don't know. Svedberg's career is literally swirling around the toilet since they sent him down to Providence for a training run. And Malcolm Subban, you can't really blame him the other week because he's a rookie, and that happens to rookies. So you have to rely on Tuukka Rask, playing like Tuukka Rask down the stretch. The defense is going to have to actually play defense in front of him. You're actually going to have to get production out of people other than Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron on offense. You're going to have to see Milan Lucic step up. You're going to want to see Ryan Spooner and David Pastrnak, the 2 rookies, play better, but they're also rookies, so you can't really expect that of production out of them, but they're playing on your second line. So you're going to have to see what they can do. And I think the Bruins will squeak into the playoffs, and as long as they don't face the Montreal Canadiens in the first round, they could get to the second round. Could they beat the Canadiens? I think they lose to them in 5, but that's yet to be seen. The Bruins will face off Friday at 7 p.m. in New Jersey against the Devils, and then they're going to be playing at 5:30 against the Coyotes at home. Up next, we will talk Red Sox spring training. as well as my predictions for the Major League Baseball season.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just the touch of a hand. Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day, and I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all but gone and my memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name, when my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow old, it's evergreen. And baby, your smile's forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways, and maybe it's all part of a plan. Well, I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. But baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. So baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Oh darling, place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. Or maybe we found love right where we are. And we found love right where we are.
You're back down the wire sports talk. Big old Richie Ricardo ain't here, so it's all me. So I'm going to talk about the Red Sox spring training, which started a couple days ago. Pitchers and catchers reported on the 20th, and 2 days later, the full team reported, and right before all the team was expected to report, Coach John Farrell was extended through 2019. The guy who's had one winning season in his Major League Baseball career has been extended, yay, till 2019. The guy had a team option. For this season, he was locked up. The next season, he had a team option. If you want to give him job security, you should have just used the team option right now and just said, hey, you know what, you're going to be here next year too, so you wouldn't have a lame duck season. I see the point in not having a lame duck season, but like players in their contract year, they usually perform better than they usually perform. So why didn't we see John Farrell in his contract year? I don't really know why the Boston Red Sox made the move, but Farrell is Cherington's guy. He's the guy of the team. He wants to have Farrell here for the long haul. And I can see why he wants that. The jury's still out on John Farrell. Is he a bad coach? Is he a good coach? Well, he won the 2013 World Series. Well, he made a lot of boneheaded mistakes in that season and in the playoff run, and it was his team that had to get him out of those mistakes. John Farrell, in my mind, is a pitching coach, and that's what he should be. Is he a good manager? I think he has the potential to be a good manager. I just don't see him deserving a contract extension because the jury isn't here yet. We haven't got the ruling whether he's going to be a good or a bad manager. When I mean the jury, I mean Red Sox Nation. We haven't decided yet whether he's good or not. And the World Series has kind of diluted us in the sense that we look at, all right, that was a successful season, which it was. But it was more to the team and not the coach. And it's tough to really say where he's going to be and how he's going to be. He was brought in really to get John Lester back on his feet. Lester had a terrible, terrible year under Bobby Valentine 3 years ago, and they brought him in to get Lester back on the feet. It worked. John Lester turned into an ace. That's right, he was the ace for 1 year, and then he had a massive contract with the Chicago Cubs, even though John Lester hasn't shown that he can do it over the long haul and be consistent. He has a massive contract to be an ace. But I like Lester, so we'll see what happens. But bad move by the Red Sox extending John Farrell. I would have liked to see them just using the team option for next season. Yoan Moncada, the phenom from Cuba. He signed a $31 million contract with the Boston Red Sox. It was a long shot that turned out to actually happening. It was an $8 million signing bonus. The deal costed a total of $63 million after paying 100% tax for going over the international signing limits. He is a number one draft pick, in the sense that if he went in the draft, he would have went first. And the Red Sox, in the time of John Henry, Larry Lucchino, and Tom Warner, that ownership group, they have never had a pick in the top 7. So they said, well, you know what? We're going to pay for it, and we want to get this player, and they got the player. He's 19 years old, and to say he's going to be on the team this season, I think is naive to say that. Where is he going to play? It's a question. He is a second baseman by nature, and obviously Dustin Pedroia is our second baseman, and he's locked up for several years. And if Pedroia gets injured, sure, he can come up and play. But you're paying a guy $31 million, and he's never played in Major League Baseball. Rusney Castillo, same kind of deal last year, $72 million contract, and he's never played, but he had more of a suspended feel, especially considering he plays the outfield. So we'll see what Moncada can do. He's expected to be at the Fort today in Fort Myers, spring training, and he will play in spring training. We'll see what he actually can do. It's rumored he can play third base, shortstop, and possibly outfield, but we don't need an outfielder. If he can play shortstop or third base, I'd be worried if I was Xander Bogaerts. And Pablo Sandoval is your third baseman, so it's where does this guy fit? Well, it's rumored he's a year to 2 years away from even having that question. And will Ortiz be here in 2 years? Maybe he'll retire, and you put Sandoval at DH, and you put Moncada over at third with Xander Bogaerts at short and Pedroia remaining at second. It's also rumored that after this season, Mike Napoli will no longer be a member of the Boston Red Sox, so you could always make a move there, move Sandoval over to first, and put Moncada over at third. It'll be interesting to see what the Boston Red Sox can do this year. And I don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Because right now I want to talk about something David Ortiz did in Major League Baseball. And I have a little clip I'm going to play. It's from Ortiz in spring training a couple days ago, talking about Major League Baseball's pace of game rules.
You know, when you make a hitter, when you force a hitter to do that, 70% you are out because you don't have no time to think. And the only time you have to think about things is that time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how this baseball game is going to end up.
But do you understand them trying to speed up the pace of the game?
There's no way. It don't matter what they do. The game not going to speed up. That's the bottom line. When you argue for the pitch that they got to go and review it, that takes some time. Is that our fault? No, it's their fault. But we still got to play the game.
It's only a $500 fine. You think you just soon pay the money?
Well, I might run out of money.
I think that line was so funny when Ortiz said I might run out of money when asked the $500 fine. So if you're not aware what the rule is, Major League Baseball, actually a week ago today, said that there's a new rule for pace of game, and that rule is that the batter must have 1 foot in the batter's box at all times. Can't do the usual walk around, can't slap your hands and all that. You got to stay in the batter's box. And for hitters, it's definitely a problem. And there's now a clock which makes you, from the last pitch thrown in the inning to the next pitch thrown in the inning, there's now a clock that dictates when the pitch has to throw from the previous pitch. So teams are going to have to be hurrying up in between innings, and this hitters thing really bugs me, though, because there's nothing against the pitchers in this situation. And it's unfortunate because Ortiz might actually have a point here. They kind of are hating on the hitters right here, and they're affecting the hitters' game. Well, they're not really affecting the pitchers' game. And Ortiz did actually have more follow-up comments to that today. I'm actually going to read you some quotes from NESN.com that they had on Ortiz. It's like, you're forcing a pitcher to pitch faster because of TV time. It's not going to function right because you know what? He's trying to win a ball game. He said, we'll see how it goes. He told Dan Roach at WBZ, I'm going to do what I do normally. If they want to fine me or suspend me, I guess it's going to have to be the beginning of a war. I don't see them suspending David Ortiz, but it is in the law that they did put out that they could suspend Ortiz. And when it comes to taking a strike or getting suspended, I think Ortiz is just going to have to man up and change the way he plays. I know it's tough for him to do, but we'll see what happens. Interesting note, Rusney Castillo, who played in the Cuban League with Moncado, and it's actually interesting because they actually instituted this kind of rule a couple years ago, and he said that it's something that you have to just kind of get accustomed to, and it doesn't really speed up the game much, he said. It doesn't speed it up noticeably. So we'll see what happens, but I think there's another way you could probably speed up the game in the sense that you have your first mound visit for the pitcher, and then the second mound visit generally is you calling to the bullpen. Instead of going up there and talking to the pitcher and giving your bullpen more time, you should just call. They should make the manager, if he's going to make that pitching change, which is pointed to his right or left hand, depending on what kind of pitcher he wants to bring out of the pen, and that's it. It'll cut out, a minute, 2 minutes out of that, and if you have 2 times a game, that's 3 minutes right there. But you're trying to get these games to around 2 hours, and it might not happen. And I think you need a pitch clock if you're going to do this to the hitters. And Ortiz is right. It's unfair to the hitters, but this game does need to speed up. Joe Kelly thinks he's going to win the Cy Young. Yeah, doubt it, buddy. You're not going to win the Cy Young. You may win 15 games. There's no ace, and should they pursue Cole Hamels or Cliff Lee? That's definitely a question mark. I don't know if they can. Someone just said get rid of the 7th inning stretch. That doesn't take any time. That's built in between innings. No, they have no ace. I don't think they're going to be pressured to make a move, and honestly, this team can wait until the trade deadline to get an ace, so I'm not too worried about that right now. I don't think it's an immediate problem. We got some non-Red Sox news. Manny Ramirez and Kevin Youkilis will be helping out the Cubs in spring training. Youkilis is an assistant to general manager Theo Epstein, and Manny Ramirez will be basically a hitting coach. The Yankees are mad at Alex Rodriguez. He showed up early last week. Showed up early to spring training, and they got mad at him. Usually you're happy if your player shows up early. They said they were unaware and unprepared for him to show up, but I think, you know what, Alex, if you want to get out there, you want to show that you can work, might as well show up early, put in your time, and you actually beat the media there, so maybe it wasn't that bad of a thing, and the Yankees overreacted, but they are done with this guy. They have $60 million left on his contract. They're fed up with him. I'm fed up with him. Baseball's fed up with him. He's no longer has a place in this game. What will his role be / production for this season? I think he's going to be a DH for the New York Yankees. May play third base every once in a while if he can even field the ball anymore. What his production be? I don't know. It's yet to be seen. He's had a couple balls out at batting practice, but from what I've heard, he's been lackluster. I think he still has the potential of hitting 10 to 20 home runs this season. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes 20 to 25, though. Josh Hamilton had a cocaine relapse, and there will be possible repercussions. The last time he did it was before his Major League service started. He was in the minors, and he actually was suspended from 2004 to 2006. Josh Hamilton hit rock bottom. He came back. He turned out to be an all-star, and he's had a pretty good career over the past decade. And it's unfortunate that he had a relapse. And Major League Baseball has little choice right here what they're going to do. Hamilton did bring this to them before it was leaked. And Major League Baseball is going to try to help him out. He definitely needs to get the help he deserves. And he's a really good guy. So it'd be a shame. I doubt you're going to see him this year. It's really tough. He should retire to get his life back in order, but he's owed $90 million over the next 3 seasons, so I don't see him retiring. It's a lot of money on that contract. Josh Hamilton, if you're not gonna listen to him, but keep Josh Hamilton in your prayers. Hopefully he'll get better. And I do have expectations for the Red Sox and playoff predictions, so I'm gonna go through I'm gonna go through the AL and then the NL. Starting with the AL East and working down to the World Series champions as well as the wild cards. AL East prediction, Red Sox. AL Central, Tigers. The only reason why I'm saying the Red Sox for AL East is because there's really no team in the division that has nearly as the talent or the roster and are going to be any good. AL West, the Angels. The AL wild card, I'm predicting it's going to be the Seattle Mariners and the Kansas City Royals. The AL champions will be the Boston Red Sox. Let's be honest, there's no one in the AL who's going to compete with the Red Sox on paper. And I'm looking at it almost like the 2007 where our team is better than everyone else's, so we have a chance to make it to the World Series. The NL East, the Nationals, NL Central, the Cardinals. The NL West I don't have on here for some reason, but I think it's going to be the Dodgers for the NL West. The Cubs and Padres for the wild card. The National League champion, the Nationals, so the World Series champs will be the Nationals, so it'll be Nationals, Red Sox, and the Nationals will beat the Red Sox. But here's the little thing. If the Red Sox can acquire an ace, I think they can win the World Series. So I have a couple minutes here, and I have some closing statements, some other Red Sox news. The Paw Sox sold to Larry Lucchino a couple days ago, and the group will move the Paw Sox to Providence off I-95 within the next 3 years. And it's unfortunate for the city of Pawtucket and McCoy Stadium. McCoy Stadium does have 3 years left on his contract, so it's expected that they'll be there for the 3 years. But they will be building a state-of-the-art stadium, costs around $20 to $30 million off of I-95 in Providence. It's good for Rhode Island to keep it in Rhode Island. That was the main concern. And Larry Lucchino and Tom Ryan was the former CVS CEO, and they wanted to keep it in Rhode Island. And it's good that it's going to stay there. But they want to bring the Fenway experience. What a load of crap. They're just shoveling the Fenway experience. Like, who cares? Fenway experience is awful. Are you kidding me? Fenway is an old park. It's iconic. But guess what? It's an awful, awful fan experience. They have improved it greatly, but Fenway is outdated. And why would you try to replicate it anywhere else? Because guess what? It doesn't even work at Fenway. And it's Fenway. All money is expected to be private from that deal. Spring training games will start early next week. I think it's the 3rd. They actually play Northeastern in their usual college doubleheader. And they'll run the Grapefruit League games, I think, start next Thursday. And they'll run till opening day. Some of those games will be on WEI. Some will be on Major League Baseball Network. Some will be on NESN. I think the Boston Globe on their sports page actually put out like a broadcasting list for the Boston Red Sox. So that's all I have for this week. It was a fun-filled, action-packed, topic-filled broadcast without Richie Ricardo. Richie's not here today, and hopefully we'll be back next week. Next week will be the last show before spring break. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tanner, and up next, we will play a little clip of Larry Lucchino and Tom Warner admitting they are not the Yankees yet. Maybe they are. Who knows? Are the Boston Red Sox really the New York Yankees?
I could never admit to that, not in my own mind at least. We are different. We run our franchises differently, and but there is a commonality in our willingness to invest in sizable sums in baseball players, whether they be short-term additions or long-term development projects. So in that sense, we like the Dodgers, like the Giants, like a lot of successful clubs, are willing to pay the price and write the check.
You guys met with the team this morning. What was the message this year to the players?
Well, Tom actually spoke to the players today, and the meeting really belongs to the general manager and to the manager, and we sort of sit on the side and rotate among ourselves who gets to say a few words, and we spoke about the commitment to winning. Tom, I'll let Tom.
Well, as Larry said, it really is John and Ben's meeting. We introduced ourselves to the players who have not been here before. As Larry said, we do have a strong commitment to winning. John said it, I think, eloquently yesterday. He said that, you know, we play for championships. We were all smarting over the finish that we had last year, and I think there's a great group of mix between veterans and younger players in camp this year, and I feel a great sense of optimism from John and the coaching staff, and beyond that, you know, we look forward to opening day here.
Yesterday, the Wall Street Journal had a column, an article about potentially cutting back the season to 154 games. Your thoughts on that, and do you think that's a real possibility?
Well, I know that this is something we've talked about. Rob Manfred is open to it. I think that's an idea that is under review. I think that what's exciting about Rob's tenure so far is that a lot of things are under review that can advance the game, and you know, I can give you my personal opinion about it, but I think that the game needs to be modernized a bit, and that would be one thing to seriously examine.